have Ancient City from the Fear and Hunger OST by Miro Haverinen. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician, I'm a composer, and my goal here is to explain things to you in a way so that you don't have to be a musician to understand what is happening here musically. If you like that, if you like the sound of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. At the time of recording, we're almost to 500 subscribers. I'm very excited about that. And make sure you like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. We're recording this live on stream, so there's going to be a lot of pausing because I'm going to be reacting basically to this live, and I'm going to be pointing things out as I catch them because I didn't hear the song in advance. So with that being said, let's do this. Ancient City from Fear and Hunger. Three seconds in. 3 seconds in, and we already have a bunch of elements from other tracks that we've heard from Fear and Hunger. We have the water drop, the same water drop sample that we heard last time. So I guess, technically speaking, because something about Fear and Hunger soundtrack is that it's very atonal. Excuse me, I burped a little bit. So there's two types overall of music. You have tonal and you have atonal. Tonal music is the overwhelming majority of music that you will hear out there. It has chords, it has scales, it uses notes in a certain way, it uses harmony, it has a very, very well-defined structure. And then you have atonal, which is the complete opposite, which means you are not making music for the purposes of making a melody or making a rhythm or something like that, but you are making music for the purposes of making sound. It's more akin to sound design than it is to music composition. However, it still has its elements of music composition. And the way I'm going with this is that music still has motifs. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed from which everything else comes out of. And there is a variation of that. So you have motif, and then you have leitmotif. This is something that Wagner made, Richard Wagner, who decided, okay, let's take some of these and let's give them a character or some sort of associated entity to them so that whenever you hear them, you instantly think of that. The most famous one is the Imperial March from Star Wars. Bom, 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 bom. That thing they have used throughout pretty much every single movie. Every time, like either Anakin or Darth Vader is mentioned, there's some sort of variation of that kind of thing, right? Like whenever there's either Darth Vader or the Empire, something like that. It's one of those entities. There's the music that plays. That's a leitmotif. And over here, since this is an atonal piece, because most of these have been atonal pieces, we have other things. We have this the high pitched. Almost like feedback that we're getting, that high-pitched feedback, the drop, the droplet, and the white noise that is like kind of looking from a radio kind of thing. Power nap. Yes. So those are leitmotifs that we're having. And then we're having the background, the subsonics that Miro uses are very effective. Subsonic music, of course. Subsonic music, I don't know if this is the official term or not, but this is basically music that the ear can't hear but can still perceive. The human being has a hearing range of 20 to 20,000 hertz. This is as far as the human ear can hear in an ideal world. Most people, overwhelming majority of people after the age of 18 or 15 no longer have this. Some people will have a hearing range from about 50 hertz down to about 19, 18, sometimes even 16,000, 15,000 hertz. The hertz is, of course, the frequency of the sound wave. It just means the higher the frequency, the higher pitched it is. So what is subsonic? It is sounds or music that go below this lower threshold. So these sounds might be the under 20 hertz 10 hertz, and what we're hearing might be the overtones of the sound, might not be. It might be that the track is has subsonic along with other stuff on top. And I just mentioned another term over here. I just mentioned overtones. An overtone is part of what is called the harmonic series. It is a very physical thing. When you have a sound wave, let's say this line over here is our sound wave. An overtone is what happens when you split the sound wave at a very precise spot. So let's say we have the note C over here, and the note C over here is what is going to be called our fundamental. It's like the baseline note, and we're singing. Ooh, we're singing C. That is not a C, but I just wanted to illustrate, right? And if we take the sound wave and we decide, okay, let's cut it in half, and let's hear what happens when we play from the half over here. We're still playing C, but now from this half, we are going to have C 1 octave above. It's going to sound higher. And this, you can continue cutting halves, and you're going to get different intervals, different notes out of that. It's how trumpets work, it's how tubas work, how brass instruments work, how French horns work, and how throat singing works in a certain extent. This is how overtone singing works. It's something that I can do. Like we have, let's say we sing a note. Then we add, with my tongue and my cheeks and everything, I'm going to fold those sound waves into creating higher notes while still singing that initial sound wave. So those notes that were sounding over there, the higher pitched whistle that sounded just now, is the overtone. So where I'm going with this is that in this case, the backing track, the fundamental, is probably a subsonic note. So it is something that is below that 20 hertz sound, but the overtones of it, when playing back through whatever radio set might be playing, are some of these higher notes that are playing throughout, giving us that sense that it's still there, and it gives you that. And the use of subsonics is mainly to create tension. It's a very intense feeling that you get. You're gonna get the feeling that you're feeling the chest is there's going to be a discomfort on the chest, crushing, and the more you are exposed to it, the more it is going to affect you. It's a causal thing. It can cause anxiety. So it is a very dangerous, it's a somewhat dangerous thing to use. So you do have to be careful with subsonic. So by the way, if you have anxiety and you don't know where you get it from, and if you leave the building, you no longer have it, there's a chance that there's something subsonic going on over there, and you're perceiving those. Time to get a soundtrack is required, do you think, and see the magic on it rather than just sounding good, especially 30 because sort of stuff. You can find many tracks. I like when it's both, that you can just enjoy it, but at the same time you have that. Let's continue, because we're 12 seconds in. So we have this very faint melody. Of course, the title of this track is Ancient City, so there's going to be a lot of empty space. Excuse me. A lot of empty space, a lot of, empty streets, abandoned buildings, and at the very, very back, you can hear that small melody with an actual melodic motif going on. And at the same time, we are having these very erratic loops of audio that Miro makes so much. He loves these. He loves making these, cutting them at unpredictable times, restarting them at unpredictable times, making you question whether or not the track is starting over or if it's just part of the track. It's a very cheeky thing that he does, very risky to do, but he's pulling it off. He's pulling it off pretty well. Let's continue. So yeah, we're having those subsonics, like distant percussion, and this guitar in the distance. It's kind of faded. It's mixed in a way that it sounds like it's like it's playing from a radio that was kept on for too long. Like it gives you that feeling of emptiness. There's nothing here. There's no one here. There's just eeriness all around us. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, that sounds kind of like steps in the distance kind of thing. Back to that music, that melody in the distance, which is something very interesting about atonal music. When you have atonal music and you reintroduce tonal music in the middle of an atonal piece, the tonal sound of it is going to sound out of place. So there is something wrong with this place, because something sounds way too right in the middle of everything else that is sounding so wrong. It's something, again, I don't like atonal music as music. I love atonal music as a tool, and the tool here is to establish ambience and atmosphere, and it's doing it so well. Let's continue. Yep, so you just have a guitarist playing that motif, just jamming out. Off in the distance, the guitar is escalating in the thing, and the little percussion here sounds kind of like footsteps. Sounds like it's getting louder, sounds like it's starting to pick up more pace. We're accelerating here. There's so few layers of music in each of these Fear and Hunger soundtracks, but each of them is doing so much. Like these so far have been a really, really good example of less is more. Really, really cool. Let's continue. Yep, the guitar is now introducing chords, not just a melody, a sense of progression. While in the meantime, we are having those subsonics getting a little bit louder. I am feeling it. I can feel it right here. The crushing sound of the subsonics taking over me. I'm uncomfortable right now. And that's kind of the point. Back we go to hearing that droplet. And let's hear it. It loops again, but the guitar is still going. That loop is very unpredictable. Sounds almost random. I don't know how random it was, but yeah. Oh, the guitar has stopped. The guitar has started again. Going with those chords. And those distant footsteps, still there. Still there. Sounds like we're repeating over here what we just heard, the droplets of water. Yeah, there are so few things going on here. So yeah, when the track sounds like it just cuts off, it's just part of it. And it's such an odd thing to hear, but it is doing what it's setting out to do. And the cuts between the subsonic track are getting more often. Like, those are speeding up. King Noise also simplify how deep you went to the nightmare. Reason why is because many music has a knock that's loud at the front. Ancient City isn't. Okay, so that's extra context. There you go. So again, it's another leitmotif over here. Even though we are using such so there are so little music going on over here, yet it is doing quite a bit. And yeah, the space between what is happening musically. So we have the subsonics still going on, and the space between the knocking and the droplets and the guitar is slowly increasing. There's slowly more and more and more space in between to give you another sense of you're just getting further and further away from whatever it is. You're just getting further and further away. We're almost done here. Let's hear it. And there we go. There was not that much else. And in this case, it's more like a fadeaway, considering that it's not really a fade out. It's more like a fadeaway, considering the fact that the music, the backing track, the subsonic is pretty much just a loop that goes back and forth, back and forth. It's cut at different points kind of randomly. So it makes sense that to end it, he would just have to fade down the volume. Unless you want to really mess up with the player and you just stop it there and then it starts the next track. But the problem is he has done it so much that if you just stop it and you start the next track and you start it with this same sample, it's going to be confusing and it's going to sound like the same thing. So you do definitely need to... It's one of those things. It's tricky to do. So Dungeon goes deep, and there's a reason. Prison of the Old Gods, so vivid. Such a place, very vivid. Nice. So there you go. That was... Again, I am not a fan of atonal music as music. I am a fan of atonal music as a device, as a tool that you can use for something like video game. We are gonna play Fear and Hunger one of these days. I just need we're gonna look at the list this Friday, okay? So there you go. We got this. That was Ancient City from the Fear and Hunger OST, composed by Miro Haverinen. Fairly interesting stuff. His stuff is so minimalist in so many ways, and there's still a lot of it that is going on there. So once again, everybody, this has been Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician / composer, and I am trying to explain things in a way that non-musicians can understand what is going on musically. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, you're following, you join the Discord, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to request a song and you're not watching this from the live stream, just leave a comment with what track you want me to do next. Video game soundtracks only, video game original soundtracks only, and yeah. That's about it. Join the Discord, follow the channels, Twitch, the Kick, YouTube, whatever it is, and that is that. Very good stuff. Ancient City from the Fear and Hunger OST. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.